Taz here at Shield Canine. Today we are going to be telling you how we start our German Shepherd puppies in protection. What I have with me here, obviously German Shepherd puppy on our table, back tied. You can see she's wearing a flat collar. At home, obviously you're not going to have this, but you can back tie the puppy to anything from a post to your banister. My suggestion is in the beginning, back tie the puppy a couple of times and just feed the puppy some kibble, get the puppy comfortable being back tied and leave the puppy there for a few minutes. And then once the puppy is comfortable, then you can start doing grip development. At this stage, we're not going to put too much pressure on the puppy. We're just going to be doing grip development, which is a prey drive based exercise. And I need to get the puppy interested in biting this rag. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move the rag back and forth, get the puppy excited to bite it. Once I see sufficient arousal towards the rag, I'm going to make some misses on the rag, and then I'm going to give the puppy the grip. There's a lot of things that are actually going to be going on. So I'm going to try to talk you guys through it as I do it. In the beginning, I'm just going to move the rag on the floor, get her excited for it. You notice that I don't start super close to the puppy. This puppy doesn't really know me, number one. So me starting really close to her can cause a little bit of insecurity. Number two, if the puppy's very socially oriented, I don't want her to become too interested in me and not the rag. So I step back and I have the rag do the vast majority of the movement so that the dog becomes fixated on the rag. There was a little bit of fixation, not too much, so I moved it a bunch and then I even threw it up on the table and whipped it away until I saw her really trying to get it, and then I gave her the grip. Now she had a little bit of a half grip, which is common especially if you're using the leather, and that's why I like to use the leather, because it's a little bit slippery in the dog's mouth and they really have to clamp down on it, versus if you use a piece of burlap, they can just be holding on with their front canine. So look at that. You see, like, she's kind of got just a half a grip and she was able to fill her mouth. So here again, you can see it's not a full grip, it's a half grip. So I'm going to give her the chance to fill her mouth properly. This is about where I want it. You know, if she wants to push a little bit farther back, it's not bad for our first session. This is her first session doing bite work. You'll notice I always keep the rag alive. I'm not hauling on it because she's a little baby. I'm just making little tension on it, keeping it a little bit alive in her mouth. When I get close, I set it. Oh, good girl. And sometimes I'll just cradle her and I just put my hand up under her chin and I'm going to try to calm her down a little bit. Good girl. I'm going to take the rag again. I'm going to work her a bit back and forth. Nothing crazy, just easy movement. Set. Good. And she punched in a little bit, and that's what I want. You see a lot of people doing this stuff online, and they're just doing crazy stuff, you know, and it's like the dog really isn't learning anything. Now, she has good prey drive. She doesn't have extreme prey drive. See, look, it's slipping, right? She has delicate puppy teeth. I'm not going to yank it out of her mouth, but at the same time, I'm just going to make, there it is. Just a little bit of tension, and it popped right out. What you specifically do might depend on what your goal is. Like if your goal is to do IGP bite work for sport, or your goal is to do, you know, suit work for a suit sport, or if your goal is to do personal protection, it might change a little bit of your approach. Okay, so again, watch that tension. You have to be very careful. Don't rip any teeth out of your dog's head. And if your dog is teething, do not do this. If I get real close, and she's a pretty confident puppy, I can do it with her, right? I can do it, but doesn't mean I should. And it's like, this isn't going to help the dog. We want to promote a full grip. So I'm going to work a lot of the grips at a distance, or at least a half distance, just to build that full, hard, confident grip. And the important thing too is I'll never put it in her range unless I'm sure that she's really trying hard. If she's kind of half motivated, then I will just keep that rag moving and I'll get her really excited for it, and I might not even give her a bite, right? So don't be afraid to not give your dog a bite if your dog is not showing sufficient motivation. I'm a big believer in working your dog in whatever drive primarily motivates them. She's getting a little tired here, so normally I would stop. I'm gonna go for one more though. Good. So you saw a little bit of a different presentation there, right? You saw me actually present it and give the dog a bite directly from my hand as opposed to throwing it. And that's because I know she could handle it. If she was showing a little more insecurity with me coming up on her, then I wouldn't have done that. What I'm going to do is whenever I come in, I'm going to help the dog a little bit. I'm going to set the rag to get the dog to bite in nice and full. The big mistake a lot of people make is they put this rag in the dog's mouth. I want the dog moving her feet and going after it. Obviously, if the dog's on the back tie, she can't come to it, but I'm going to move it so that she has to move her feet to go after the rag. All right, so now she's biting it. When I walk in again, so important. Calm, relax, or I'm going to set. Oh, She's gonna bite nice, I'm gonna move out, okay? This is how I will start these puppies on the bite work. From here, I will move to other things, but in the beginning, I'm gonna just spend a couple of sessions getting the dog comfortable, showing the correct transition of behavior from prey arousal to the pursuit of the object to biting the object, and then I'm gonna focus on how the dog bites the object. As you can see, like every single time I've gotten it out of this dog's mouth, it slipped out of her mouth because it's leather. If you're not using leather, if you are using burlap, that is easier for the dog to hold on to. Doesn't necessarily mean it's better to use, but it is easier for the dog to hold on to. For that, what I do is I like to do little lift offs. So I'll lift, and you saw there, I didn't actually hold it until she let go because I'm not trying to make her out. When I do a lift off, I'm actually promoting that the dog hold on. If you have a motivated dog and you do a lift off, a lot of the time you'll see that the dog actually holds on even more, which is good. Her prey drive, she has a very good prey drive. She doesn't have an extreme prey drive. There's different levels. There's dogs with lower, there's dogs obviously with mediocre, there's dogs with good, and then there's dogs with extreme. I would rate her as good prey drive, not extreme. Like I said, this dog needs more work in the middle distance, so not super close. And then from the middle distance, when she's showing me the correct behavior, I'm gonna move in to the close distance and I'm gonna work a little bit more close work. When she's really comfortable with me very close to her, then we're gonna move on to other things. But in the beginning, I'm gonna work this dog on the back tie, get her grips nice, firm, hard, and calm. I'm gonna get the dog re-gripping into the rag, right? I don't want her just staying like this. If she has a half grip, I want her to re-grip and fill her mouth. Again, this is a topic for another day. This is just how I get the dog started. I think that concludes our part 1 of this series on how to train a German Shepherd to do protection work.